All right, guys, I just wanted to hop on here today and talk about how to get a sub-second draw, right? So the reason I like to put some emphasis on a sub-second draw is because if I can get the gun out of the holster and in the ready position sooner than the other guy, whether it's competition, self-defense, whatever that is, that's going to give me more time either to aim, make sure to confirm that first shot, or just be faster in general depending on target size and opportunity. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do this first little demonstration, I got this timer set to 3 seconds and I want to make this blatantly obvious. Okay, so the first one that we're going to do, I'm going to use all 3 seconds to draw. Again, this is kind of like going in slow motion, but it's to make it blatantly obvious. Okay, so I don't necessarily want to spend all of my time on the draw and then try to be really quick that last little bit. So that's what this one will be. Okay, now I really didn't have a whole lot of time to aim there. It's like you go really slow on the draw and then you try to go really fast at the end. Okay, so you're trying to be fast here to here, or trying to be slow here to here and then fast here to here. Okay, that's not a smart thing to do and it's not very efficient. Okay, so this is going to be the next one, and I wanted to make this blatantly obvious. So we'll go here. So I have a ton of time to sit there and aim before I take that first shot. Okay, I wanted to make that blatantly obvious. So if I have my gun out of the holster and in that position sooner, then I have more time to aim. Okay, so again, competition setting, you're able to confirm just a little bit better, or depending on target size opportunity, you're closer. Whether it's military, law enforcement, it's the same thing, right? If you can get your gun out of the holster sooner, then you have more time to make sure that you are accountable for whatever round that you're sending off that first round, okay? The second thing that I want to go over on how to achieve this is good economy of motion. Now, you could be very fast and have terrible economy of motion, okay? And for instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to point towards the camera. So hold on, let me take this off. So obviously I can point this around just to frame here. So I'm going to again make this blatantly obvious with this 3 seconds here. And I'm going to have one that is good economy of motion and one that is terrible economy of motion. Okay, so this will be the first one. So that one there is terrible economy of motion, right? I'm leaning over here, then rocking back and bringing my head down to the sights of the gun, okay? There's going to be a couple things that happen. That's going to be inconsistent. Now, I can do it quick, but I am going to be inconsistent with it, okay? And I'm never going to be able to truly reach the next height, or that next level of shooting, or that next level of the draw that I can if I'm wasting all of that motion, okay? So here's going to be the second one. I'll go slow with it, but I'm going to do just good economy of motion. Okay, I didn't move anything. I didn't bring my head down to the gun. Everything was a straight line from here to here, okay? Now, I didn't come out and go up and then over. I didn't come out and then go down and then swoop up like that, right? I'm not trying to make any 90-degree angles anywhere. I want it to be a straight line out to whatever the intended target is, right? So gun out of the holster, and then I'm getting this hand to it as soon as possible so I can start kind of transferring some of the pressure to my support hand, and then it's a straight shot right to there, okay? Now, we want to make sure that we have that good economy of motion. This works too. We're going to actually speed it up, and I'm going to do the part time at a second and show you guys that you can still kind of see this, okay? So let me change this real quick. Okay, so we got a 1 second part time now, and we're going to do the same thing, right? I'm going to waste motion on one, and I'm going to have good economy of motion on the other, okay? Okay, so wasted motion, I rocked my body this way, and most of the time what you'll see is people will go and they rock their body this way, rock it back and bring their head down to it, and then when they put their gun back in the holster, they go, and everything is a straight line. They didn't have to rock their body over or do anything like that. Again, that is wasted motion. You can be really fast, right? Like I'll draw and have it out on the target and be really fast with it. So Okay, I can be really fast doing that, but it's harder to be consistent, and it's harder to truly, you're just wasting too much motion, right? You're using too much effort to try to achieve a goal that can be way simpler and way easier, okay? So we'll go ahead and we'll do it this way. I'll even go nice and slow and kind of use up that whole second, but I'm just gonna do good economy of motion. Okay, it's hard for me to even use up the whole second because with good economy of motion, you're just kind of there. It's so much easier to get there, and I can be consistent with it. Okay, now that's why it's extremely important. So now we're gonna I'm gonna go as fast as I can in both good economy of motion and bad economy of motion, and see how much more time that I have with that good economy of motion. Oh, that was bad. Can't even do it that way. I'll try that again. Make it obvious. Okay, so there's that. Now, good economy of motion. Okay, now I have a lot more time to aim or do whatever I have to do, okay? So the way we achieve this is with a style of scoop draw. It's not the full scoop draw, and what I mean by that, the full scoop draw, you scoop it out of the holster, and a lot of times your thumb isn't over the back of that beaver tail till quite a ways in the air. And I just never felt like this was, for one, safe or consistent. So what I like to do is as soon as my fingers, these bottom fingers, hit my grip and my thumb starts to come over the back of that beaver tail, I just automatically get my thumb over that, okay? So before my gun even comes out of the holster, I've already got a good purchase on this gun. I can be consistent and have a nice high and tight grip with my dominant hand. So that's something that I do there, and it allows me to go in a straight line. Another thing is we want to make sure that we're getting our support hand to the gun as soon as possible so we can start transferring the pressure into that support hand and start lightening up on this one a little bit. Now, I'm not going to say that you're not going to have any pressure in your dominant hand, because I like to actually use my pinky to create a little bit of pressure, help lock out my dominant hand wrist, and that still allows me to move my trigger finger very easily. If I try to tense everything up, then I can't hardly move my trigger finger. But if I just tense that pinky finger, then I can still move that trigger finger pretty good. So that's what I like to do. Again, I'm not going to get too detailed into the grip, but want to get to it as soon as possible, and then again, just a nice straight line to whatever the intended target is. So right now I have my par time set for 0.6 seconds, so just a little over half a second, and I'm going to see if I can do it with bad economy of motion, and then we're going to see how much easier it is with good economy of motion. So this will be with bad economy of motion. Okay. So I wasn't even able to get there with that bad economy of motion, even though I was moving very quick. Was that still quick? Yes, it was still sub-second, but it's not allowing me to be consistent. So now we're going to use good economy of motion and see how much easier that is. Okay, so I was able to get there and actually have a little bit of time before the second beep went off. So that would have been around a half second, which is where I'm at. Anywhere 10 yards in, I'm able to be around a half a second with this particular setup here. And again, I'm able to achieve that by cutting out all the wasted motion. And I'm telling you guys this because I plateaued for the longest time, and I was trying my hardest, and I was fast and I was accurate, but I just couldn't be as good as these grandmaster shooters. And it was because I wasn't having good economy of motion. If you're wasting a bunch of time doing stuff that isn't actually useful, then we need to try to cut that out. So take a phone to the range and video yourself and see what motion you can start to cut out, and try to streamline the process, and it'll streamline everywhere in all aspects of shooting. So guys, I hope this video helped you out, and thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.